Hello everybody and welcome. I am the Beta Plan and welcome to a rather special episode of two of them for our Trials of Trebizond campaign. If you're watching this in the future and you might be wondering what the heck is going on, well, this is a time 7 time lapse of our Emperor Raphael the Holy. And why am I doing this? Well, I had kind of promised that I would bring this game into EU4, but at the time of this recording and while I'm post-editing this voice into it, Holy Fury has come out as the newest DLC from CK2. And therefore, of course, we have to play that, and that means a new series, so I had to rush to finish this series off and to make it ready to be ported into EU4, as well as being ready for a new series. So I had to go a little bit faster than normal. Hence you see me, well, playing out the life here of Emperor Raphael the Holy. As you also may notice, I did add in some sounds in the background of the CK2, but that has not been, well, sped up because I rather have the normal sounds, even if it's a little bit out of sync when you do stuff regarding troop movement and what have you not, than having chipmunk sounds in the background. Now, don't get me wrong, I kind of actually like the chipmunks. I know, guilty, dirty pleasure, whatever you want to call that. Yeah, for a series, I think that's a big no-no. However, as you can see here, Raphael the Holy is going for the lands that I actually was asked about by one of my watchers. Because first I went for Arabia, I went for the holy sites, trying to dislodge the Sunni religion from its pillar of high and might, more or less blowing their, or not more or less, just simply lowering their moral authority. But now I am going to go for the rich lands of Al Jazeera and Iraq. In fact, it is Raphael the Holy, which you will see in a moment. I think that's not this war, but the next war that I do in this area, that gets a message that we have restored the imperial province of Mesopotamia, which actually was the original title of this area within Crusader Kings 2 before I think Jade Dragon came out, but it may actually be even an expansion before that. But I'm going to keep it on Jade Dragon for the moment. So Raphael the Holy here, he doesn't give a darn about prestige, he gives a lot about piety. So he breaks constantly every truce there ever has been made in order to take the Seljuk an important thing, and that is to understand that Orthodoxism is the way to go. As you can also see, during his reign, the area that is considered the de jure part of the Roman Empire expands, and I actually quite enjoy that we managed to get quite a bit of it, though I'm not going to spoil you how far we get there. But yeah, in fact, this man is also, unlike his father, has rejoined the community of Saint Basil instead of the Hermetic Society in order to speed up even the Orthodox spread further. In the beginning, I am rather focused on actually bringing down heresies, and then, by the way, here you see me actually being a little bit of a pickle with a battle there. But yeah, first removing heresies like Catholic and Frascatelli, Bogomolist, and I think Iconoclast as well. Well, there were, for some reason, all of a sudden some issues popped up, despite the fact that Orthodoxism has like a 100 moral authority. And here you see me checking in a few items that I just acquired, though I cannot exactly find it anymore. I believe it is because in this case, apparently joining the community of Saint Basil has removed the magnus opus of our previous emperor, which was a rather nice book to have. So that was a bit of a shame, despite the fact that we did have the compass. And I have a mod, there by the way is the Mesopotamia restoration message, and I do have a mod on that says that you do not lose your artifact, because kind of find that silly. If it's an artifact, if it's something from your family, you want to preserve it, you know, like really preserve it. So I find it rather silly that it can disappear so randomly. And also, I think it's kind of cool to look back into your inventory. Like, look, like this is what my grandfather wrote, and our previous emperor, Adosius the Wise, wrote 3 different books. So that's why I'm also a little peeved that apparently the Magnus Opus just went up in smoke. Regardless, we are teaching the Seljuk a lesson here, and bringing these Seljuk down to their knees actually brought us closer and closer to the Solanki. So I'm not sure if this is this war or the next war, but you finally will see the Solanki truly adding power to the defensive pact that is against the Roman Empire. And of course, they may give me a little bit of trouble, but we will persevere. Naturally. Anyways, yeah, we as I obtained the lands of Al Jazeera and later Iraq, I thoroughly enjoyed to get the lands of the Tigris and the Asaf, I think? No, it's slightly different. I forgot how the other river is called, I apologize. But I also would love to well, get ourselves the entirety of the Arabian Peninsula, simply because that looks nice. And Border Gore is something that riles me. I would almost, if I would ever make a mod, I almost would make a Border Gore Casus Belli mod. And however, that would mean that you would have to teach the AI what Border Gore is, and I think that would be nearly impossible. But yeah, nonetheless, here we obtain another huge chunk, and I've given Iraq and Al Jazeera, by the way, to Rum, making another strong kingdom in that area. As you also see, by the way, here, Abyssinia falls to the Emperor because the Liberator dies without having any sons. And so the crown of Abyssinia falls to me. And here you will see me go through our rather extensive family line in order to find some candidates to inherit all this stuff, because, well, it is a kingdom title, and I feel that it is necessary here to give the Gavras a chance that, and certainly the Gavras that, well, are not quite in power. Now, I know that the video is going rather quickly, but you may notice from these brief moments in where you see our family line that we have about 1/3 of our family is living members, and that's near the 500s. I think slightly over even. And yeah, well, that actually shows a healthy family, because you can have 1,000 members to your family, but if only your 20 are alive, that probably means that almost none of them is landed, if anyone at all. But in our family, the line is still expanding. As you can see that here, as I'm desperately trying to find a candidate to inherit something without getting all kinds of weird inheritance issues. And we even land one of the females from the family, because I do want to know that we did manage to change the laws, and females have been given land already quite a bit. I don't believe I ever gave a Gavras lady some land. Although in the end I do give the title itself to a male, and that's simply because he has a son that he can, well, grow into a nice inheritor of the area, whereas the lady is only 18, I believe. So she could get sons, but yeah, matrilineal marriage can happen and all that. So we did it this way. You also see me there for a short moment there messing with the Adrianopolis duchy, the family member once again going to the other county than the main county, because that family member just died and he didn't have a proper heir to inherit the duchy. So voila, that duchy is changing once again back into the other family holding. That's also been a story that has been going on for quite some time during this campaign, although the inheritor was quite stable for some time. During all this life of Raphael, he did more than just here, as I show you here, and bring the lovely Arabian Peninsula under our Roman purple. He did more than just wage holy wars. One of the more interesting facts that happened during his reign was my daughter-in-law, the wife of my inheritor, came to my bedchambers, and although I am holy, I accepted that invitation more so because they had only but one child, and that boy, frankly, was an imbecile. So, in general, he was simply not worthy of inheriting all the entire Roman Empire, and they needed an additional heir. Did that, but then in the end, unfortunately, it turned out that she was not just betting me, but betting a lot of people, and she got even an intrigue bonus. I don't even know how that works, but apparently she was going for almost the seduction focus without being landed. Regardless, that made me imprison her, and in the end, we also took care that she was... my son was remarried, but I'm not sure where that happens exactly in this video. It's been a moment since I've recorded this, and well, everything is going at speed 7, so I may have already missed it. But yeah, here I well, give out a few titles, make sure that everything goes hunky-dory, sell a few people that we have imprisoned as we are slow sieging the last little piece of Iraq over here in order to, well, complete that little kingdom as well. Moreover, you also see a large army, and perhaps you just saw it for a moment, of Arabia moving towards the south. Arabia has now grown quite big and quite bold, and well, you will see in a moment what Arabia was up to. As we expand our territory ever furthermore towards the east, making also Byzantium a little bit more of a proper capital, and there you see that Rum has been given Iraq and Al Jazeera. But yeah, I'm looking over here where the Arabian army are, because they are actually attacking Solanki. And they are attacking for the Duchy of Kerman. But as they are focusing on that, I notice a little Seljuk rebellion. Finally, because it's been like ages since they had one. And I make gladly use of that to, well, attack over here. I mean, I can constantly break truces, sure, but my troops also need some replenishment. So slow sieging and a weaker force is always handy, and attacking two different opponents also makes it still go faster, even if you breaking truces constantly. Attacking two opponents at the same time is a good thing, although I do attack only here the rebellion, but that is because my troops, I remember I had to replenish a wee little bit. But yeah, going for the kingdom of Dylam over here, if I pronounce it correctly. I'm not sure if that is true, but yeah, the newest kingdom, I would say, that has been placed at the southern end of the Caspian Sea. Also, that kingdom used to be just parts of Persia, and I think Dihistan, which is added to Dylam, was part of Turkestan. Here we have a small little rebellion in Nubia, which I have to take care of, because I'm not really sure if Egypt is going to do it, as we attack the Seljuk once again to make sure that this border war doesn't stay for very long. Once again, border war is just not something I enjoy, although I have to say it was the first time ever during my now 3 years of YouTube career and CK2 videos that I saw border war that was just funny to look at, because of the way that it was formed. And luckily one of my watchers said, yeah, I can see actually what you mean, which made me feel a little less crazy. And yeah, we had a beautiful border war, a bit of a impossibility if you add those words together, but it was a border war that was rather special, I'd say. So yeah, Raphail the Holy still going to push into the Seljuk, getting all the old terrains. And here you see me looking at the current situation of religion, because it's not going too well. Here you see me actually moving towards the west of my nation in order to check on all these heresies that have been popping up. Now, I also notice now that I'm getting very close to the green area. As you can see, I think it's called Trebizond, but I'm not really sure if that is true or if I'm mixing up something. Here, by the way, you see that Solanki army aiding the Seljuk, giving me a run for my money, because they actually beat me in battle. I did not actually expect the Solanki to pop up here, which I should have known, but well, kind of fell. So whoopsie, my Raphail army gets demolished and I need to recreate one. So finally the defensive pact is working in favor of, well, the defensive pact, so to speak. And here I have usurped the kingdom of Dylam away from the Seljuk and give it to one of our newest Greek vassal lords. However, unfortunately, there, by the way, you see me that I have indeed betrothed my son to a new genius Greek lady. If you probably need to pause the video, but that's what happened there. Yeah, that's something that you can't do anymore in Holy Fury, because the Byzantine Empire has been made even more special. And here you see me once again changing counties in the heartlands of my empire to prevent all those nasty heresies from popping up. But yeah, you can't do it anymore because the empire has made even more special, as they have apparently not a feudal as a government system, but imperial. Imperial, they were always special that they could revoke already duchies, but now they have also been given the rather nasty debuff, I would say, if it would be more of a, in more of strategy terms, is that they can't usurp kingdoms and titles anymore, which means you can't usurp a title, give it to a vassal, and then they have de jure claims on it, or you have de jure claims on it. So the Byzantine Empire has actually been weakened by the newest Holy Fury expansion, at least on that ground. There somebody dies, and I give Ahia back to the family line, because, I don't know, somehow I felt this game I would keep a few de jure duchy titles around, because if you give a de jure duchy title to somebody, they do get this bonus of plus 60 for having been gifted a duchy title, even if the rest of your feudal vassal lords get us a small penalty, because they rather see that this title does not always fall back to the emperor. They more or less like the tradition of having these families around. Also, it makes it, of course, harder to inherit them as a new family, because the emperor constantly reclaims the titles. And here I go for this duchy of Kazakhstan, I think that is, or that might actually be further away. I can't rather remember, but this duchy that lies next to this green area, because I would love to get a new border. And as you can see, Arabia has been successful by this point to take the duchy of Kerman, and now we have once again border war, and of course I cannot stand for that. In fact, I promised also one of the watchers that by the end of this Roman Empire Let's Play, I would remove all border war. And here I look at a weapon that we just claimed, but it's not so good as the Chinese weapons. In fact, the Chinese weapons and artifacts, they tend to be a little bit grossly overpowered, to be honest. Well, grossly overpowered might be a misnomer, but some of them are really, really good. Even the lower quality ones, because even some of the lower quality ones can just reduce the cost of building new things in your duchy by 5%. That is still quite a bit of cash over time. And here you can see that I looked for a very short moment at the culture map mode, but Greek is still spreading incredibly well in Egypt. And also the Orthodoxism. Now I have removed all these heresies, so finally my devotion can be turned towards the newly conquered Muslim lands, as I once again move east. Get a little ill, but Raphael the Holy, as you may have already surmised from a Time 7 video, lives a very long and healthy life. In fact, the next video you will see of his son is, although still an hour, half an hour, just the normal video length, not an hour, holy heck no, half an hour of a video length, it is much less sped up. You also see me here moving a little bit with armies around, because as you can see, a little bit to my north is both a Seljuk army and a Solanki army for a total grand sum of 40,000 men. But here I captured the duchy, and I noticed that the Fars duchy is now part of a rebellion of the Drevid rebellion. I think now I see it's not Dravidon but Drevid. Anyways, that is of course, well, a nice easy target. David, I think it is even. Sorry, and as I said, it's been a while since I played, and I'm looking at the video just as you are looking at the video, as I am post-commenting on it. Yes, I think that is worthy of a thing. I'm not sure how many people enjoy this video, and it could by this time many of you could have dropped already, which, you know, is absolutely fine. This is kind of a weird video in the sense that you don't really see the woes and ups and downs of the family, but it does show how I expand and what I do. There again, removing one of those nasty heresies. But yeah, And it is part of our story, but as somebody else also said, it's getting a little boring right now. I am unstoppable, and because I am unstoppable, only when I attack the Seljuk it's interesting. Well, here you have a video of me almost constantly attacking the Seljuk and see our mortal enemy of the Byzantine Empire brought to its knees. By the way, as you can see, perhaps from if you remember, Arabia actually managed to get one additional county, completing the Duchy of Kerman before I can do anything about it. But adding that Duchy of Fars over here will definitely remove the border war, as you will see in a moment, because, well, I'm slow sieging with several armies, a rebellion, and boom, there it is. It's not beautiful yet, but it is quite nice as we get the Gulf of Aden added to our empire. Oh, sorry, the Persian Gulf. The Gulf of Aden is the one below. I always get these two mixed up. My mistake. But this is the Persian Gulf. But yeah, adding Fars to our empire, and I can already tell you I am putting here yet another Gavras in the end. Well, not on Fars itself, but Gavras will in the end hold sway over this area, as we now for the first time capture Hindu lands within the Roman Empire, and still using our devotion to remove all that nasty Sunni religion from our realm, because we are complete conformists and everybody shall pray to one god and have one country. Of course, that's exactly the way how you make people happy, right? Taste the sarcasm. So, anyways, for no reason at all, just upgrading my own duchy, because, well, technology is still being added on, and, well, now that I have conquered that one little province, which was in between here of the Mongol Empire, of the Mongol Empire revolt, I should say, the Seljuk have a nice thing to attack, so they tend to push their forces into there, and in order to well, siege something down once they have the moment. And here we capture yet another territory of Persia, the Esfahan Duchy, I think it is called, because Esfahan was the original capital of Persia, and I do believe the duchy was called that way, but then again, they have renamed some things in this area in Jade Dragon, and I haven't played enough in this area to feel entirely comfortable saying for sure that is it. Anyways, well, here, looking around, keeping the Turkish band, by the way, indirectly alive, still trying to look if I could get married into them, get a true alliance going on. At times I see them being attacked and struggling, and it is at times actually that I even if I thought I wasn't ready, because my Brittany armies, for instance, really needed replenishment, that I still attack simply for the reason that I want that Turkish band to survive. And here you actually see me not attacking for a while, and that simply has to do with that my Brittany armies at this point have been rather depleted of forces. You can even see me here looking into their composition, because, well, although we are definitely winning of the Seljuk, I'm doing it of course only with Brittany armies, as you as well noticed. And there, by the way, the new wife of my son marries to him, and I am still feeling the need to simply do it with Brittany armies, not call up all the forces and destabilize our realm with it, because we can do it with it, but that still means that we are getting quite a few men, well, thrown over the keel, as we say in Dutch. Simply, they die in battle. Although in a sense that we kind of know that they will and not really care. In the meantime, the Solanki are solidifying their holdings, but currently they are still trying to do so. And here you can see me finally getting the Arabian Peninsula Orthodox territories connected to one another. I don't know why, but that also feels better to me. And I know that if you have from one province, if you have an Orthodox area, also it feels in the one, it seems to spread faster, which I think is completely silly, although indirectly it's true. If in a duchy you have an Orthodox territory, and it is of the Duke will use his own priest on this council to aid his count. So there is a chance that both the count's religious counselor will try to convert the county, as well as the duke. And therefore, if you get the capital of a duchy converted, it can actually be beneficial for you, and it will seem like it's spreading faster, but it's simply because the duke is then helping out his counts, and then your religion, need not be Orthodoxism, any religion you have, will spread quicker. And here we're going to go once again attacking, actually in the meantime that I have explained this mechanism, we have already captured another duchy called Merv, and now we're going to go for Azerbaijan, I believe that is. No, Azerbaijan lies to the north of this. Azerbaijan we captured way in the beginning. I can't even remember how this one is called. But yeah, we're attacking in the south of the Caspian Sea, pushing up north, because now we are only one duchy away of unifying the entire realm, because I thought, like in EU4, I really would like to be able to walk around and not have to, or have all the area around the Caspian Sea and not have to go all the way around through the Caucasus in order to get from one part of another part of the realm, should my army need that. So I was really focused on that. As you can see, the Seljuk getting nicely smacked upside down by me as I remove yet another little heresy. And look at my culture and religion. And don't worry about the Seljuks' little bump up into north here. I'm, by the way, trying to still convince some people to get out of freaking tribal. But it probably is the local government that's giving the issue. And this blue stripy stripe over here, I'm going to spill the beans here a little bit. I kind of hope they would succeed. It's the Turkic company. The Seljuk have been unable to pay the Turkic company their fees, and thus they have gone to war. We could have had the Turkic band and the Turkic company on the map, but as you can already hear by my could be and what is, I think, future past tense or imperfectum, it doesn't come to pass. They managed, despite here now they're holding 2 counties more or less. They managed to in the end beat them back, but that takes a lot of effort from the Seljuk. Here they beat the army back, but it retreats partially. And that little bit of aid allows me to actually, with weakened armies, to push into the Seljuk even more, slow sieging them without being interrupted too much. So, great for me, right? Absolutely. Well, here we finally complete Kirpchak, and that is just really a kind of a silly war in a sense, because it's one duchy, one county for a duchy that we already own, but yeah, nobody was going for it, and I wanted to kind of complete it. The border looks much prettier, I believe, when this has taken place, and here we finally see that my son gets himself a new son, and a son that isn't an imbecile, so we have safeguarded our realm from being inherited by somebody that might not be entirely apt to inherit the throne. Well, then I take another look over here. Khotan and Khotan are fighting with one another, just to make it more insane on the map. Yeah, there are 2 Khotans, because there's a Khotan kingdom and a Khotan duchy, and apparently those 2 are do not belong to the same person. And here I look at some eternal wars that are going on and wondering where I shall attack. Because you do see me hovering over that war button, but I'm not pressing it yet. As I'm also considering if I should attack the Solanki over here. You can see me move my armies actually to the south in order to take care of that business. Try to threaten them. And in the end I push actually north instead of south. Which is kind of odd perhaps to do. But I want to get a more complete sense of a more continuous border, and I thought pushing more to the east is less prudent than if I push north and keep the border looking well. And here we die, so we come to the end of this video, as the next emperor is going to finish up these wars and finish up the last few with the Seljuk.